Stephen took a deep breath, feeling relieved. I just want to clean your car, sir. I need to earn some money to eat, he said, hoping for kindness. John, impressed by the boy's determination, allowed him to clean the car. Go ahead, clean it, John said. As Stephen worked quickly and precisely, John watched him closely. The boy's dedication was impressive, especially for someone so young. You're very good at this, John said, trying to start a conversation. Stephen paused for a moment, looked at John, and smiled. Thank you, sir. I try to do my best in everything I do. These simple, sincere words touched John deeply. This boy deserves a chance, John thought, amazed by Stephen's maturity. When Stephen finished cleaning the car, John handed him a large amount of money. Here's for your hard work, John said. But Stephen hesitated when he saw the large sum. Thanks, sir, but I only want to earn enough to eat today. I don't want charity. Want to work for my food, he said honestly, leaving John shocked. I don't want charity, just an opportunity. John was momentarily speechless, touched by the boy's integrity. Then, to John's surprise, Stephen handed back most of the money, keeping only a small amount for the work he had done. He really doesn't just want money, wants a chance to work, John thought, feeling a growing connection with the boy. What's your name? John asked. Stephen seemed surprised by the question, as if people rarely asked him about himself. I'm Stephen, sir, he replied hesitantly. Seeing the boy's shyness, John knew he wanted to help. Stephen, you're hungry, right? Let's go to the diner down the street and get something to eat. Afterward, my car will probably need another cleaning, John said, using the car as an excuse to spend more time with Stephen and talk to him. Stephen, surprised and grateful, accepted the offer. Thank you, sir, John smiled, happy that he had found a way to help Stephen without hurting his pride. Let's go then, John said, opening the car door. As they walked, John used the opportunity to learn more about Stephen. Where are your parents, Stephen? He asked gently, trying to understand the boy's life. Stephen lowered his head and spoke softly. I lost my parents some time ago. Since then, I've been on my own. John felt a pain in his heart upon hearing this. This boy has been through so much, John thought, feeling even more determined to help. You're very brave, Stephen. It's not easy living like this, John said, trying to comfort him. When they arrived at a small, simple diner, John ordered a full meal for Stephen. As they ate, John watched the boy with growing admiration. Although hungry, Stephen ate slowly, savoring every bite. Thank you, sir. This means a lot to me, Stephen said, his eyes shining with gratitude. John smiled and replied, You deserve it, Stephen. Working hard and being honest is rare these days. John knew he wanted to do something more permanent to help Stephen. He felt the eyes of the other customers in the diner on him, surprised to see a well-dressed man with a street boy. After the meal, John looked directly at Stephen and made a decision. Stephen, I really want to help you. Would you like to come to my house? This way, you won't have to worry about where to sleep or eat tomorrow. I promise I won't hurt you. We just want to help. Stephen hesitated for a moment, unsure if he could trust John, but something in John's eyes made Stephen feel safe. With tears in his eyes, Stephen asked, Are you serious, sir? John nodded firmly. Yes, I am. Let's go to my house. You're hungry, and you deserve a chance for a better life. Stephen, emotional and overwhelmed, accepted the offer. Thank you, sir. I won't disappoint you. John smiled warmly. I know you won't. Stephen, let's go. We have a lot to do. As John drove home with Stephen, he felt a new sense of purpose. Maybe helping Stephen is the key to finding what's missing in my life. Doing good for those who need it, John thought, feeling hopeful. Meanwhile, Ashley Tess, John's mother, Saturday in her luxurious mansion, watching the perfectly manicured garden. She was a snobbish and prejudiced woman who cared only about social status and wealth. Her face often showed disapproval, especially regarding her son's choices. As she sipped her tea, she thought about the previous day. Yesterday, John was talking about our time in poverty before he changed our lives. My son should know that our family's image is everything. He shouldn't bring up such things in front of others. She reflected, remembering what John had said during dinner. Just then, John entered the house with Stephen by his side. The boy, still dirty and dressed in ragged clothes, had a glimmer of hope in his eyes. As soon as Ashley saw them, her face twisted in disgust. What is the meaning of this, John? She asked coldly. Staying calm, John replied, Mother, this is Stephen. He needs help, and I've decided to bring him here. Ashley looked the boy up and down, her disapproval obvious. This is unacceptable, she exclaimed. Walking closer to John, she continued, you can't just bring a street child into the house. Think about our reputation. John took a deep breath, knowing his mother would react this way. Mother, it's not about reputation. It's about doing what's right. Stephen needs us. Ashley scoffed, crossing her arms. And what will people say when they find out we are harboring a beggar? This isn't admissible, she argued. Stephen, feeling the tension and hostility, stepped back, but John placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. He's not a beggar, Mother. He's the boy who's had a tough life and deserves a chance. Ashley, still unconvinced, replied, John, you're being naive. These people just want to take advantage of us. He'll bring us problems. John stood firm. I believe in Stephen. He deserves a chance. Irritated, Ashley turned and walked toward the living room. You've always been stubborn, John, but this is too much. I won't allow him to stay here. John followed her, trying to stay calm. Mother, this is my house, and I've already made my decision. Stephen will stay. He needs a safe place, and I will provide that for him. Ashley stopped and faced him. If something goes wrong, it'll be your responsibility, she said, still irritated. John, feeling both frustrated and determined, responded, Okay, Mother, I accept that responsibility. Ashley, still skeptical, looked at Stephen with disdain. But don't think life will be easy here. I'll be watching you, she said harshly. A businessman was stopped at a traffic light when he noticed a boy begging nearby. As he rolled down the window of his limousine, he couldn't believe what the boy was capable of doing. Stephen, a 10-year-old boy, walked quickly through the streets of Miami. His thin body, dirty face, and worn-out clothes showed the tough life he lived on the streets. Barefoot and struggling daily, he survived by doing small jobs and begging at traffic lights. Despite his hardships, Stephen showed determination and dignity. I'll get enough for a piece of bread today, he thought as he walked toward a car waiting at a red light. He picked a simple car, hoping the driver would be generous. With an old rag, Stephen quickly and skillfully cleaned the windshield. The driver, a middle-aged man, rolled down the window and handed Stephen a few coins. Thank you, sir, Stephen said with a smile, hiding the hunger he felt. He knew they had to stay hopeful, even if he only got a little. As the afternoon wore on, the hot sun made Stephen feel tired, but he kept going. Just a few more cars, he whispered to himself, wiping sweat from his forehead. Then, he saw a luxury car coming in. With both hope and nervousness, decided to try his luck. The windows of the car were closed, but that didn't stop him. Come on, Stephen, you can do it, he thought as he moved toward the car. On his way, Stephen noticed another child, younger than him and looking even hungrier, sitting on the sidewalk. He stopped and, after counting his coins, decided the girl needed them more. She looked weaker and in greater need of help. Hey, are you hungry? Stephen asked her with a kind smile. The girl nodded, her big eyes filled with hope. Stephen handed her some coins and said, Take this, buy something to eat. I can't still earn more. The girl started crying, overwhelmed with gratitude. Thank you, I'm so hungry, she said, standing up with difficulty. Stephen helped her up and said, No need to thank me, I know how hard it is. Even though he was hungry himself, he ignored it to help her. Looking around, Stephen saw other boys struggling like him. This gave him strength to keep going, knowing he wasn't alone. I will make it, he thought, determined to continue. He walked to another traffic light, where a group of people was waiting to cross. With a brave smile, he approached a lady carrying heavy bags. Can I help you with your bags, ma'am? Stephen offered, hoping to earn a little money. The lady looked at him, surprised. You're so young to be working like this, she said with concern. Stephen smiled and replied, I have to work. Stephen always worked hard, carrying bags, cleaning cars, and helping with anything he could to earn some money for food. When the woman gave him a bag to carry and handed him a few coins as thanks, Stephen felt a bit of relief. Every little bit helps, he thought. At the end of that day, Stephen counted the coins he had earned, trying to see if it would be enough for a simple meal. Still a little short, he murmured, his stomach growling with hunger. Deciding to give it one last try, he headed to another traffic light, thinking, just need a few more coins. He approached another car with renewed courage and asked the driver if he could clean the windshield, hoping his effort would be rewarded. But the man angrily refused, shooing him away. Get out of here, But you'll make my car dirty, the man shouted. Frightened, Stephen bowed his head, afraid the man might hurt him. As the day ended, Stephen found a quiet corner in the square to rest. He watched the city lights and the people hurrying by. Even though he was tired and hungry, he kept hoping that tomorrow would be better. Tomorrow is a new day. Stephen, you will make it, he said to himself, staying optimistic despite the difficulties. He still believed in the kindness of people and the possibility of a better future. Meanwhile, John Bigas, a middle-aged man with a strong and confident appearance, walked through the busy streets of Miami, heading to an important meeting. Wearing an impeccable suit, John looked every bit the successful businessman. He had built his fortune through hard work and determination, starting from nothing and overcoming many challenges along the way. Today will be a decisive day, John thought, adjusting his tie before entering a grand office building. Inside the luxurious office, John was greeted with respect. His employees admired him, knowing how inspiring his journey had been. He sat at his desk, surrounded by contracts and important documents, feeling proud as he reflected on how well his company was doing. Yet, despite his success, John felt a sense of emptiness that even all his wealth couldn't fill. Why do I still feel this void? He wondered, looking at an old photo of his parents on his desk. John remembered his humble childhood, where every penny mattered, and hard work wasn't just an option, but a necessity. He was proud of what he had overcome, but thinking about his beginnings also made him feel uncomfortable. What would my parents say if they saw me now? He thought, flipping through the papers on his desk. Despite all they had achieved, John felt like something important was still missing in his life. Maybe that's what I'm lacking the calls, something beyond what money can buy. He pondered, feeling a bit sad. As the day went on, John got busy with meetings and negotiations, always maintaining his confident and firm demeanor. He was not only successful, but also respected for his honesty and integrity. Even though John was successful and respected for his values, it didn't fill the emptiness it felt inside. Business is business, but what really matters at the end of the day? He wondered as he gazed out his office window during a coffee break. Watching the busy city below, John realized, I need to find a purpose beyond just making money. Later, during a meeting, one of John's associates mentioned a charity event happening in the city. John, who usually focused only on business, found himself interested. Maybe that's what I need, something more meaningful. He thought, helping others might help me find the missing piece. He reflected, remembering his difficult childhood when hope was all he had. As John drove through the streets of Miami, he noticed people sleeping on the streets, and his heart ached. I was once in a tough situation too, he thought, recalling the hunger and struggles his family faced when his parents couldn't find work. Stopping at a traffic light, John looked out the window and saw a boy approaching with a dirty rag in his hand. The boy's eyes were filled with determination, but he hesitated as he got closer. Please, sir, don't hurt me, Stephen said nervously. Yesterday, a man was aggressive and threatened to hurt me if I came near his car. John, surprised by the boy's fear, rolled down the window and responded calmly. Don't worry, I won't hurt you. What do you want? Bye.